The gates open just long enough, then close behind them, and just like that, it's over. No confirmation. No wave. No statement, only the lingering question hanging in the air, that had to be him. It feels sudden, almost surreal. One moment you're watching a helicopter land inside Buckingham Palace, the next you're realizing that a senior royal figure may have just arrived without fanfare, slipping quietly into one of the most secure residences in the country. The absence of a visible police car now makes sense. No flashing lights. No escort drawing eyes. Everything done to keep it low-key, controlled, almost invisible to anyone not already paying attention. That's how you move when you don't want to fuss. Standing there, it's hard not to feel like you've just witnessed something you weren't really meant to see, not because it was secret, but because it was subtle. London has a way of doing that. It hides extraordinary moments inside ordinary mornings. Traffic resumes its normal rhythm. People start walking again. The noise level rises back to what it was before. On the surface, everything looks the same, but it isn't, because now you know something happened, something significant enough to involve a helicopter landing inside Buckingham Palace, a discreet motorcade, heightened security, and a royal residence already signaling the presence of the king. You replay the sequence in your head, trying to make sense of it. The timing. The routes. The choices. None of it feels random. If it really was Prince Harry, and all signs quietly point in that direction, then this arrival speaks volumes without saying a single word. No grand entrance. No cameras invited. Just business handled behind palace walls, and that, somehow, makes it even more powerful. Moments like this remind you why people remain fascinated by the royal family. Not because of ceremonies or crowns, but because of these unscripted intersections between tradition, power, and everyday life. One minute you're walking through a park, the next you're standing at the edge of history unfolding quietly in real time. You didn't plan to see this. No one announced it, but you were there, and now, long after the helicopter noise has faded and the gates have closed, the question still lingers: who really arrived in London this morning, and why? The helicopter settles lower now, its blades cutting through the air with a steady, controlled rhythm. People nearby stop completely. Conversations trail off mid-sentence. Phones lift instinctively, though no one really knows what they're trying to capture. Proof, maybe, that this moment is real. The sound echoes off the surrounding buildings, bouncing back in a way that makes everything feel closer, more intense, and then it touches down right there, behind the walls of Buckingham Palace. The realization hits hard and fast. This isn't routine. This isn't a scheduled public engagement. This is something discreet, something carefully managed. Helicopter landings inside the palace grounds are rare enough that even seasoned royal watchers pause when they happen. Whoever has just arrived didn't come through the gates. They came from above. That tells you everything. Almost immediately, movement on the ground picks up again. Cars that had been waiting now reposition. Security adjusts subtly, without drama. There's no panic, no rush, just a quiet tightening of control, like a net being drawn slightly closer. Then I notice the vehicles. Two of them, moving with purpose. A Discovery and a Range Rover. They don't have flashing lights. No sirens. No obvious police escort in front or behind. That alone makes them stand out. In London, especially around royal areas, that kind of low-profile movement usually means one thing: discretion. The cars slow briefly, then turn straight toward Clarence House, and suddenly, everything clicks. The helicopter, the royal standard flying, the carriage already delivered inside the palace, the guards in position, the quiet security sweep. This isn't coincidence. It's coordination. The Range Rovers move smoothly, unhurried, as if they know no one will stop them. They pass without drawing attention from most people, but once you notice them, you can't unsee them. The windows are tinted just enough to obscure faces, but not enough to feel anonymous, and then the thought forms. Is that Harry? It sounds almost unreal even as it crosses the mind. There's no announcement. No press presence. No crowd gathered with expectation. This isn't how public royal appearances usually look, but then again, that's exactly the point. If this were meant to be noticed, it would look very different. The vehicles turn in, straight into Clarence House. The carriage moves steadily, the horses well trained, their posture alert and disciplined. There's something dignified about them, something that commands attention without demanding it. People stop. Phones come out. Conversations pause. It's impossible not to watch. The signal comes again, left. That's significant. If they're turning left here, it means they're heading straight toward the main entrance of Clarence House. That's where King Charles could very well be at this exact moment. The anticipation builds naturally. We'll know soon enough, because Clarence House has its own clear indicator. If the royal standard is flying above the residence, then the king is inside. So we continue step by step, closer to Clarence House. The building comes into view, stately and understated in a way that only royal residences can manage. It doesn't overwhelm you with size or decoration. Instead, it carries itself with quiet authority. This is Clarence House, the London home of King Charles. From where I'm standing, we can't move much closer. There are limits, clear boundaries, but the gates are visible, and through them, you can see enough to confirm what's happening. Inside, the King's Guard is stationed. One guard is visible at first, standing perfectly still, focused, composed, and then another comes into view. That's important. When the king is in residence, there are two guards present. Seeing both confirms it. They aren't just guarding the building, they are guarding the monarch himself, along with anyone else inside. Looking up, right above Clarence House, there it is again, the royal standard. As the wind picks up slightly, the flag unfurls more clearly. There's no doubt about it now. King Charles is indeed inside. This isn't speculation. This is how the system works. Traffic slows momentarily nearby. For a second, it looks like the carriage might stop, held back by lights or congestion. But then it moves straight through. Smooth, controlled, uninterrupted, and that raises a new question. Who is inside? Who would arrive like this, at this hour, under these conditions? The carriage draws more attention now. People lean in, scanning faces, searching for a glimpse of someone inside. The horses shift slightly, one of them showing signs of restlessness. Just a small movement, a flick of energy, nothing alarming, but noticeable. It adds to the tension of the moment. If you knew who was inside that carriage, you'd want to say something. You'd want to tell everyone around you. But no one knows for sure. And that uncertainty makes it even more fascinating. The possibility forms almost instantly. Perhaps they're taking the passenger directly into Buckingham Palace, and then it happens. The gate opens right in front of us. The carriage turns and enters the palace grounds. That alone is a rare sight. You don't see horse-drawn carriages delivering someone directly into Buckingham Palace every day. Armed police are visible now, positioned strategically, alert but controlled. There's no chaos, no shouting, no announcement. Everything is calm, professional, and precise. Whoever just arrived is important, very important. A VIP, without question. This isn't ceremony for show. This is function. The carriage has brought someone significant into the palace this morning, and the fact that it happened so quietly makes it even more remarkable. I genuinely didn't expect to see anything like this today. Moments like this are why people love watching London in real time. You never quite know what you'll witness. 1 second you're walking through a park, the next you're watching the machinery of monarchy move right in front of you. The horses stand tall again, their presence majestic despite the traffic noise around them. They look stunning, powerful, elegant, timeless. But the city is waking up fully now. Traffic is increasing. Motorbikes pass. Buses roll by. The noise level rises, and the horses react slightly, shifting, restless once more. Someone dismounts briefly, adjusting the reins, calming them, speaking softly. It's a small moment, but a telling one. Even these ceremonial animals have to navigate the reality of a busy modern city. She takes control of the reins, walking in front now, guiding the horses carefully. It's rare to see this kind of adjustment happen in real time. Usually everything looks perfectly choreographed. Seeing the human side of it, the quick decision-making, the care taken for the animals, makes the scene feel even more real around us. Commotion grows. An ambulance passes. Police presence becomes more noticeable. Things are happening everywhere at once, overlapping without colliding. 2 men come into view, dressed impeccably. Extremely well put together, formal, polished. They look like they've stepped straight out of a different era. Most likely heading toward Wellington Barracks. It's a rare sight, and you can't help but think that on a busy, sunny day, people would be lining up just to take photographs with them. But today, it all feels hushed, over my right shoulder, something else catches my attention. A car pauses briefly, scanning the area. The occupants look alert, purposeful. It has the unmistakable feel of security. Discreet, watchful. Then there are police on horseback as well, reinforcing the sense that something significant is unfolding. None of it is loud. None of it is announced. But if you're paying attention, you can see it. Then the sound changes. A low, growing hum fills the air. A helicopter looking up, there it is, moving across the sky above the mall. It's close, closer than you usually see. The angle alone makes it remarkable. The helicopter passes almost directly overhead, and suddenly everything else fades into the background. What helicopter is this? It doesn't look like a standard police aircraft. The color catches the light differently. Is it maroon? Could it be royal? It's fascinating. Rare, the helicopter moves with precision, not circling aimlessly, but lining up with intent. It's now directly above Buckingham Palace. And then, incredibly, it begins to descend right into the palace grounds, into the back garden of Buckingham Palace. You don't see that ever. This isn't a flyover. This isn't a pass. This is a landing. And the realization hits all at once: whoever is inside that helicopter is important enough to arrive directly into the palace by air. That is an entrance, and the question forms instantly, unavoidably: who is in that helicopter? It's just after 9 in the morning, that quiet window in London when the city feels like it's still stretching awake. The air has that early freshness to it, cool but not cold, the kind that makes walking feel effortless. I'm standing in Green Park, and for anyone who doesn't know London particularly well, this spot sits right beside Buckingham Palace. It's one of those locations that feels calm on the surface, yet you always sense that history and power are just a few steps away. Green Park is an interesting place at this hour. There aren't many tourists yet. A few commuters cut through the pathways, some joggers pass by with headphones in, and the sound of distant traffic hums like background noise rather than a disruption. From here, approaching the palace feels almost understated. No grand gates immediately in front of you, no sudden spectacle. Just trees, open grass, and the quiet understanding that something significant is nearby. And then, almost without warning, something catches the eye high above, unmistakable once you know what you're looking for. The royal standard is flying. It's positioned prominently, visible even from this distance, and it's moving clearly in the morning breeze. That flag isn't decorative. It isn't flown casually. When the royal standard is up, it signals one very specific thing: the monarch is present. That immediately changes the atmosphere. Seeing it this morning is unexpected. It's not something you plan for. It's the kind of sighting that stops you mid-thought. The presence of that flag means King Charles is in the area. Most likely, he's at his private London residence, Clarence House, which sits just behind me. Alternatively, he could already be inside Buckingham Palace itself. Either way, the flag confirms that the king is here. It's a striking sight. Magnificent, even. One of those moments where London reminds you that it isn't just a modern capital city, it's layered with tradition, symbolism, and routines that have existed for generations. I wasn't expecting to see this today. It's one of those quiet surprises that feel special precisely because they're unplanned. As I take it in, attention shifts again. Movement draws the eye toward the road. There's activity approaching, and instinctively you start scanning, wondering what might be coming through. Is there anyone in the back? Can we see who's there? People nearby slow their steps too, curiosity spreading without a word being spoken. Then a signal. A clear indication to turn left. That direction matters. Turning left here means heading down the Mall, the iconic ceremonial road that leads directly toward Clarence House. It's not just any turn. It's purposeful. It suggests a destination with meaning. Without thinking too much about it, I decide to follow at a distance, just to see where this leads. Because this is London, and because this is right beside the palace, you learn quickly that the ordinary can turn extraordinary in seconds. And then there it is. A horse-drawn carriage right there, in the middle of London. It's one of those sights that never quite loses its impact, no matter how many times you've seen images of it. To witness it in person, unexpectedly, in the flow of everyday city life, is something else entirely. Cars, buses, cyclists, and suddenly, horses, Polished harnesses, traditional carriage wheels rolling along the road, this city does contrast better than almost anywhere else in the world. Modern life colliding gently with centuries-old tradition.